Welcome to the Fantasy Aceball podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And we are recording during the day. A nice day podcast. That never happens. Everybody's used to Doc drinking a beer or smoking a cigar. And he's in work mode right now. He's got to go pick up mom. Can't go pick up mom with alcohol in the breath.
Can't. You can.
Oh.
It's just frowned upon by society and the law.
Yeah, especially when it's still in the morning, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a beer, but this is coffee. Be strong in the Lord in His mighty power. That is not a King James translation. That's what our fantasy community is gonna be mad about. They're like, no, it's not King James. Don't worry, I read King James Bible. I'm old school. I'm stupid. So yeah, man, I just came off a fresh podcast with Connor Griffin's father. And I'm not sure when you're getting this out, bro, but I haven't told anyone publicly yet that we're doing that. So
yeah,
this might be
check that out. Dynasty Dingers pod to listen to what was Connor Griffin's dad's name again? Kevin Griffin? Kevin Griffin.
That's why he spells it with a K.
Oh, is he did he give any secrets? Any childhood secrets that Connor
he did. There's some crazy stories.
Be red-faced about?
There's one that's an amazing story. Basically, he was almost so seriously injured that he would not have had a baseball career, and it was not in a baseball play. It was like a go-karting accident, and there's some greasy details on there. But you can only find out more on the Dynasty Dingers podcast.
I was about to say, dude, you said go-karts. I was about to say dirt bikes. I was like, it's got to be dirt bikes.
I showed him, I showed him my Indians beer bat and my wife, so God bless her, she this is a pink one. And so this is one of those situations where I said, hey, I think the sun's going to be on us. Do you want to bring your hat? And she said, no. When we get to the park, she says, can you buy me a hat? I say, how about a divorce instead? And no, we didn't. And no. And so she, I went and I got her this pink little Indianapolis Indians hat. And then found out Mr. Skeens, who was starting that day, so last year, one of his last starts, the first time he went a full six, he signs and autographs and meets people after the game. So that's what he was doing only in the minor leagues because he knew according to the stadium, that he just knew it was going to be a short time. Very, very studly behavior. So thank you, wife, for making me get you a hat because now we got Paul Skeen's signature on there.
And you still left the tag on there, dude. $25. You left the price.
Well, I think it's very funny to have that there because having his signature on there.
Signature.
Yeah. It makes it. You can add a few zeros to that one day.
Yeah.
We're not selling that. I think it just adds some character to it. And it shows proof to the story, right? Yeah, we just bought the hat and then he signed it. Still has the tag on it.
That's hilarious. So this week, in persons, I actually did get an in-person on Thursday, but I was like barely paying attention because I had to network. It was like for a networking meeting thing. So I was like with a bunch of business people and networking with them. But I actually did get some good video on Andrew Salas. Andrew Salas had a really nice, I think it was a 2 RBI hit. Dylan Head had a really big game. So I keep seeing the same guys and like talking about the same guys. Kiner Benitez was only okay during this start. This was against the Mighty Muscles, which is the Twins team, which isn't that great. They've got like Damari Pena and they've got Dason Hill, but Hill wasn't pitching. So like it's an okay team. The Marlins team is pretty good. No PJ Morlando. Who else is on that team? I didn't catch who's the other guy? Abraham Ramirez played. No PJ Morlando. That team is just so stacked. I can't even think of all the top prospects they have. But there was someone else missing. But yeah, so I caught a bunch of that but didn't really get much video. So, Doc, I am hoping because Quinn Matthews is back. I'm going to the game on Saturday this week, and he just pitched on Monday. So I'm really hoping to get some Quinn Matthews reps because he just did he came back and pitched in the Complex League, 2 innings, 4 Ks. I'm hoping that they bring him up to the A-ball game and I get to see him on Saturday. That's my dream. That would be sick if that happened. So hopefully I'll get some Quinn Matthews reps going in as he's rehabbing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a buy low window of a lifetime. It feels like the helium has been completely sucked out of his value. It's frustrating because I'm trying to get him in my one league. I really want him in. It's a salary cap league, and the guy's like MIA. He's just not declining. He's not accepting. Give me that player. But I got him lots of other places. This is it, folks. I'm pretty confident he's going to fly up. People just assume, oh yeah, guy was playing hurt and then had to go on the IL. Like they just, but also, oh, look at his numbers. No, so he like I guess they can't put it all together. I don't know. They just like, do you think he went from one of the best pitchers in all of minor league baseball to one of the worst, from AA to AAA? That doesn't usually happen. I'm more concerned with like a Jackson Bowmeister, who I was super high on. I'm like, oh gosh, I still wonder if there's something physical happening there because it's too. It's like it's not like he went from like a 2 ERA to a 3 or a 4 or a 4, and like he's just kind of like that happened to Robbie Snelling, like where he wasn't awful, but he was like, oh, it's just way less sexy. Where it was like a believable drop off. Maybe that's what I'm talking about, the believable drop off. Whereas like you see like a Quinn Matthews going from like a 1 to a 6 ERA. And hopefully that's the situation with Bowmeister as well. But it's like there's probably something deeper going on here, meaning there's a path to get back. And hopefully it's not a TJ path. And it's not looking like it is that for Quinn. So we'll see what happens.
When pitcher has a lot of success at some point, just striking everybody out, 16% swinging strike rate type stuff, that doesn't happen by accident. Like if the underlying metrics back up what you're doing for like Bowmeister, for example, like that kind of means that he has that stuff in him. Now it just may be tweaking. Like, does he have to tweak his pitch mix? Is he throwing outside of the zone or inside of the zone too much? Did he do something in the offseason that messed up his mechanics? Right? Like, did he have a go-kart accident over that messed up his shoulder or something? You never know. So it's like, if you have shown it in the past, though, I believe that, especially over like a long period of time, like he did basically the entire time he was with the Rays last year, once you have shown that skill, you own that skill. So it's just about bringing it back, tweaking something to get back to where he was. So I agree. I'm just hoping to see Quinn Matthews. I really want to see one of the T10 that we're going to talk about this week. Hopefully he gets promoted soon. I mean, the thing is, like Complex League 2, I could probably just go see him. I just have to go to a 10 o'clock game, which kind of sucks. Like, who wants to go to a baseball game at 10 a.m.? But like, I guess I could do it. I just don't really want to go to a 10 a.m. game, but I might have to drag myself to a Complex game at 10 a.m. here in Jupiter at some point. We'll talk about him in a second, though. I'm going to leave that as a tease. But T1 here, Doc. Some people might think this is a boring name because he's already been in the majors. But where are you on Mr. Shane Whitcomb, who last week was 7 for 24 with 5 home runs and 2 steals? This is a guy that I saw this spring, Doc, that I was like really impressed by. I saw him twice this spring, and he was hitting the ball really hard the whole time. But then he had a really crappy second half of the spring, didn't make the team. Like, I thought he was going to be the starting third baseman. He has a 13% barrel rate this year, a 91 average EV, went 25 homers, 25 steals last year. Do you think he's just Dylan Moore? Is Shea Whitcomb basically the Astros Dylan Moore? What do you think about this?
I think that's a great comp. He's older. He's 26. He'll be 27 by September. So, it's baseball. So that actually doesn't mean he's out of chances. And he's hitting the ball pretty hard, hitting the ball harder this year than ever before. 91 mile per hour average EV down at AAA. And we're seeing, traditionally, I remember this guy not having great strikeout numbers. You know what? It looks like it's interesting. In MLB last year, in his little stint, he had the best contact numbers he ever had, which is likely unsustainable. But, 74% AAA is okay, especially with an 87 zone contact rate. So I guess, I know I could see here why I remember being suspicious about him, because he used to have a 30% strikeout rate in the minors as of 2023. Last year, he really cleaned that up. So, I mean, it's creeping back up a little, but maybe there's Dylan Moore plus, which is like, we saw Dylan Moore. I don't know how he's doing now, but I remember early season, there was this mirage going on where everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing. And I said, well, I know Dylan Moore. And yeah, he's like, there's leagues for him. There's uses for him. Most part, if you like your ratio staying intact, you don't want any part of him. So yeah, maybe he's Dylan Moore But if he could be dealing more with just a little bit extra, like so instead of like 200, he's batting 220, 240. I don't know. That could be better.
Yeah, 13 homers too. It's just crazy what he's doing right now in the minors. Like, there's really no reason. Like, the Astros aren't that good of a team. Like, they could really, they could use someone with that kind of power. So I don't know. I think he's up soon. So I think Shea Whitcomb is nice for like this year, for maybe a few years. Like, I don't know if he's a long-term buy or anything like that in Dynasty. I kind of doubt that, but I feel like he's a guy who could come up this year and provide pretty soon or pretty immediate fantasy value. So I think he was that's why I was okay putting him, even though I usually don't like putting super old prospects in the T10. Like, that's why I like a guy like him or like Carson McCusker, who I had last week on the T10, and then he got called up, right? Am I right? So this is why we put some of these older guys in, because they might provide to you immediate fantasy value. This is a fun.
This happens, and this happens a lot. I'll tell you what. Like, we'll talk about prospects on this show. I'll tell you what. I've been gearing more toward the more proximal prospects and MLB focus this year, and so it's been very helpful to go on this show because it's kind of like, what's going on, in the super deeper prospect world. And there's been several times where I hear about a guy on this show, we look into him, and then the next week everyone else is catching up. So follow Tim and Fantasy Aceball and this podcast if you want to be first.
Oh, yeah. Get in first, baby. This is one that nobody has really heard of. TJ Nichols with the Rays in high A. Last week, 12 Ks, 0 walks, 0 ERA, 0.33 whip in 6 innings. So that's only one start. Like, there's a guy we're going to talk about later who had 14 Ks, I think, but that was in 2 starts. So TJ Nichols, got to love that. Also on the season, almost a 35% CSW, 16.3 swing strike rate. So it's not like it's just like the one good start. He's actually having a really good season too. I'm going to pull his stats up here. But one of the things that I like about TJ Nichols is he has top-notch command. This guy, over his last 5 starts, has over a 60% strike rate, Doc, in 3 of his last 5 starts. Like, if Jacob Misiorowski hit 60% in one game, that'd be like a minor miracle. And this guy did it in 3 out of the last 5. Really nasty slider to pair with an above average fastball. He's 6'5", so he's got that bigger frame. Also has a changeup or a splitter. I'm not really sure if that's a change. They kind of categorize it as a changeup because minors, but like, to me, it kind of, I don't know if it's a splitter. Kind of looks like a splitter or something, or like I don't know. It's like a high velo changeup kind of that breaks glove side. So that's an interesting pitch that Nichols has as well. But the slider is like the pitch that I really love from him. Did you know anything about TJ Nichols?
Not super aware of him, and by that I mean this is the first time I'm hearing about him. But looking him up, you can do some things, right? 22 years old, he's almost 23, so it says he's 6'5", 189. So funny, guys. Give him the extra pound, like round up, 189, dude. Give him a burger. He'll be 192. So yeah, it's like I would like to see a bit more meat on the bone there. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at his numbers. And the strikeouts are creeping up. It seems like he's just one of these guys. He went to, he went to college, right? So it's not like he's been sitting around floundering and, he's almost 23 already. It's like, no, it's just kind of like a normal trajectory. And his walks have always been in line. And that's the nice thing here. I guess what I'm seeing in the stats is that the strikeouts are increasing and the walks are decreasing. I'm not sure if you mentioned that or not, because I was just trying to look him up while you were talking, but that's a great indication of someone you should be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, he's not like a non-pedigree guy. Went to Arizona, 6th-round pick. And last year, he had a pretty strong debut in A-ball. But it kind of went under the radar because he only pitched 71 innings. I don't know if there was an injury involved, because he was really not even on my radar until this season. But definite uptick in the stuff. Like, last year, only an 11% swing strike rate. This year, 16.3. But, yeah, like I said, the main thing is this guy throws a ton of strikes. You can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, like I always recommend, if you're watching on YouTube, the ridiculous strike percentages in these starts here. And so he only has 3 walks on the season. It's almost like Zebby Matthews-ish from last season. If you remember how Zebby only had like 1 walk through his first like 10 starts or whatever it was. So he's kind of like on that train here, that Zebby Matthews ride for TJ Nichols as a college guy, older guy, kind of popping up out of nowhere, not walking anybody, upticking the stuff. So let's see if this continues with Nichols, who is in the Rays org, and the Rays are pretty darn good at developing pitchers. So this is something that you also like when you're looking at this. You have anything else on Nichols before we move to number T3?
No, that was actually my first thought when I saw him was, oh, Rays, that's a good start. So I just echo what you had to say.
Oh, yeah. Okay, next we have on here a complex league hitter who is just like taking the league by storm, really. Like it's almost not even fair. And I actually met this guy during spring training. That's Rainiel Rodriguez with the Cardinals. He was like just outside of my top 150 when I did my last update. I think I had him at like 160 something or 170 something, but he was like right there for a complex league guy. Already on the season, Doc, he's hitting 412, 543, 1,000 slug with 6 homers on the season, which complex league just started. And on the week last week, 7 for 16 with 4 bombs. So Rainiel Rodriguez just destroying everything. I've been seeing Ross post about him a lot too. Like this is a guy that I've always liked, especially being a Cardinals fan. But Ross has been going nuts on him too with the peak projections and stuff, just like blowing this guy up right now. But tons of power here. I thought he was going to break camp. So I asked him and I asked Yairo Padilla, who's also having an awesome time so far in Complex League. I was like, are you guys going to be up camp with Aceball this year, or are you going to be down in Complex or whatever? And both of them were like, we have no idea. They haven't told. And this is like the very end of spring. It was like one of the last games of spring. Like, we have no idea where we're going. They haven't told us anything yet. And I'm like, I don't know if you're being coy here with me and you actually know and you're just not allowed to say or not, but, you know, whatever. I actually also asked him how to pronounce his name. I was like, how do you say your name? Is it like, you know, Raniel, like Espanol, or is it like Rainel or something? I'm just screwing it up. And he said, no, it's Rainiel. I'm still messing it up because I'm a gringo. But, and then we got Yairo Padilla. I asked him, is it Jairo or Yairo? And he said Yairo. But, gotta love this power, man, from another Cardinals catcher. The Cardinals cannot, the Cardinals and the Royals, and I almost had another Royals catcher on here too, who we have not talked about yet. Barely missed. But the Cardinals and the Royals cannot stop producing catchers. These Missouri teams are just cranking out catchers. And I'm convinced right now the only reason Rodriguez is still a complex is because Josh Cross is at Aceball blocking him. And Josh Cross cannot be promoted because Ryan Campos is blocking him at high A, and then Leonardo Bernal is blocking him, and then Jimmy Crooks is blocking him, and then Herrera's blocking him. So it's like, what's going to go? Like, yeah, you got to get these catchers. We got to get this conga line moving, Cardinals.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, it's like a position that is sought after. It's considered in real baseball the most important position, you know, other than pitcher, you know, like in terms of like the, the batters. Like you want a real solid catcher who can call games and ideally not be a liability in the lineup. So it's, Cardinals apparently are really good at 2 things right now, and that's developing catchers and really boring pitchers. I mean, Miles Michaelis out there, what the heck? He's looking like 2022 again. I caught some heat today. Some guy got so mad at me on X because I'm like, listen, guys, the Cardinals are looking amazing, and unfortunately, that means I have to talk about picking up Miles Michaelis again. And I know you've been through a lot of trauma, but look at these numbers. He's got like a 3 ERA, like 1 WHIP over the last month. I'm like, listen, there's leagues where that's going to play. I don't care about your strikeouts. Go pick him up. And some guy's like, no. I'm like, okay, I don't like. Sure, don't have to. He's like, no, but he's not good. He's no strikeouts. I'm like, I am very familiar with Miles Michaelis. Thank you. And he's like, listen, bro, he was not letting it go. And so now that just made me want to hype him up even more. Anyway, and there's more on the way. McGreevy's and Grassifos. We'll see what happens. They'll throw Grassifo will still he'll probably still have like a 5K9, even though he's blasting 99 now somehow. But yeah, so Rainiel Rodriguez, the power looks great. He's only 18 years old. If you want to look for a problem, it's like 65% contact rate. Not great. But, I mean, I guess this is the age where it's okay because there's so much development ahead. And that makes me think he needs to be at Complex a little while longer. He had a 65% contact rate in DSL, although those numbers are weird. You don't know if you can trust those or not. The fact that it hasn't gotten worse from then is great. We'll see. That's something where you're going to want to pay attention moving forward because the power clearly is there. He's able to take a walk, but yeah, got to get those contact numbers up past 70. That's where I like them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when he's in A-ball and hitting against actual good pitchers, because DSL and Complex like never have good pitchers, except for when Travis Sikora just is in Complex destroying little leaguers for no reason. So yeah, or it's always rehab, right? Like the rehab are the only good pitchers that are pitching in Complex. If you're a decent pitcher, you're already in A-ball by that point. So yeah, definitely want to see him against better competition. And Miles Michaelis is my neighbor, so I'm down for anyone picking up Miles Michaelis so I can see him to continue adding on to his giant house down the street from me. So, in Jupiter Farms here. So, anyway, number 4 we have on the T4 is shortstop Caitlin Culpepper, which, if you're like, that name sounds familiar, it's probably because he was a first round pick last year. So, Caitlin Culpepper, first round pick last year, didn't do much after getting drafted with the Twins. And that's the first thing, right? You hear, he's a Twins hitter and he's not hurt. Like, let's put on a bubble on this guy so he doesn't get hurt. So he is having a very strong year to the year or start to the season. 80% contact rate. There you go, Doc. Barely more Ks than walks, a 12% walk, 17% K rate, 302, 411, 481 slash. So almost got the 345 slash going. And he has 10 extra base hits, 4 homers, 7 steals. And last week, 2 bombs with 3 steals, 9 for 26 for Caitlin Culpepper. So you may have seen on the X some of his homers, because a couple of his homers kind of made the rounds. It's nice to see the power coming from him, because this is a guy when he was drafted that I was not sure if there was going to be much power from. That was my biggest concern. I was like, is this guy just going to be like a hit tool guy with a little bit of speed? Like, I don't know, a worse version of Jacob Wilson or something with maybe a little more speed. I wasn't really sure what to expect from him. I thought he was going to be more like hit tool speed, but to see the 4 homers from him already and to see some nice power, not just like barely home runs from Caitlin Culpepper, like he's really getting into the swing right now. It makes me excited. What do you think about him?
Yeah, man, I remember the same thing. It was like, sometimes you'll see these draft profiles and every single player is like, could be the next Corey Seager, could be the next, for
Every lefty
Barry
short.
Bonds. Yeah, it's just like everyone's a stud. This one. So when you see ones that aren't super exciting, it's like, I don't know about this guy. So Caitlin Culpepper was one of those, for fantasy purposes at least, where you're like, really good defender, might have a good hit tool, probably not a lot of pop or speed. And it's like, see you later. And so he's doing everything you want him to do now. You're seeing an increase in, I mean, frankly, even last year, he only played 26 games. He had 3 home runs in those games. So he's kind of on the same power pace, 4 home runs now, stealing more bases. He's got 7 stolen bases compared to 4. This is great that he played the same amount of games. You can just kind of line them up. And although he played some of his games last year at low A, but roughly, he's taking walks. He's not striking out. Contact rate's pretty solid. I still am not going to be fighting to get this guy, but he's one of those guys, like you're talking about Jacob Wilson. It's like this. I was very dismissive of Jacob Wilson all the way up to basically until this year. I'm like, I guess he could make it work. Like, the whole time I was like, his upside is Luis Arias, white Luis Arias. I called him, very politically correct, and he, and I mean, he's kind of doing that, right? So that's actually a good outcome. That said, like, the problem is with those types is like, what if you don't hit that peak? Then you're really boring. And I don't think Culpepper has that kind of hit tool. Like, you look at Jacob Wilson, he had something crazy, like a 97% zone contact rate. Like, it's like, I don't think we're there. I can't see a zone contact yet, but I think Culpepper's probably a low end guy. But again, the flip side is, if you're good enough at defense, you're good enough to be a big leaguer, which I think that's the profile I'm seeing here. He's got a spot in a lineup and he's not hurt. When you do that, it enables you to have a runway, and that's Jacob Wilson has taken that runway and that major league development and starting to tap into just a little bit of power and like getting more well-rounded. And so maybe we see that with Culpepper here. Something like that.
The only thing that concerns me is the ground ball rate is up at like 63%, which is crazy because last year it was down to 39. So you say, okay, let's like combine that. So maybe you're running a higher BABIP this year, running up a higher batting average because you're fast and you're able to run those ground balls out. but you don't want to be hitting the ball on the ground 60% of the time. Just ask Jordan Walker. So maybe we want to combine that a little bit. Maybe we don't want him at 39 because he's not a fly ball guy. We want him hitting the ball on the ground to bring that average up. But at the same time, we don't want him to be, lean full. Hey, let's just beat out grounders. And then he's also pulling the ball more this year. So that may be resulting in like more distance on these homers. Cause like some of these homers that he's had, like, I think they're all the ones that I've seen have been pull homers, but like he actually cranked a couple of them. Like it wasn't, they weren't like just barely over the wall. Like a couple of them were cranked, and it's nice to see, oh man, he's actually got some pretty decent power in there that he dug down and found. But that might be like the pull thing. Like that might be a result of him saying, hey, I can Isaac Paredes this a little bit and see what happens. So number 5 here, another Cardinal. I know. I'm sorry. Cardinals galore. We have starting pitcher Tekoa Roby with the Cardinals. I saw him this spring also, and he was phenomenal this spring. I actually saw him come out of the pen twice, maybe 3 times this spring, and he was lights out every single time. I got video on it if you want to check on the YouTube channel. But this week for Tekoa Roby, 5 2/3 innings, 11 Ks, 0 walks, 3.18 ERA, 0.71 WHIP, and that's a double-A. And the Cardinals already had Cooper Jerpy get hurt. Quinn Matthews got hurt. So this is what's going to be interesting to me, Doc, is can Tekoa Roby pass Quinn Matthews in like the line of who's getting called up? Like, is it possible, do you think, that like Quinn Matthews's rehab kind of pushed him back behind Roby in the Cardinals? Talking about conga lines, the conga line for starting pitchers. Like obviously, like Michael McGreevy is going to be the next guy up there, but could Roby be the next guy? Could he beat Quinn Matthews up at this point, just due to health and due to some of this additional performance we're seeing here?
Well, is Roby not coming off of an injury himself?
He was hurt last year, and this is a guy that's constantly hurt. Like if you look at Roby's career, like I'm bringing him up right now, but what was his maximum innings pitched in a season is 104. And he's been around,
which is fine. That's okay. It was way back though. So he only pitched 38 innings last year. So that would be my thing. Is like, I think it's going to come down to who's playing better. Because it's not like Roby's sitting here showing he has the durability to, just show up and take on a major league schedule. And as you said, McGreevy's the next guy up. So, you think about it, like, okay, it's not like, of course, injury can happen at any time in the major league rotation. But if they're healthy for a couple more weeks at least, then there's an injury. Okay, McGreevy's up. And then, he comes, then he goes for a couple weeks. You basically need someone else to get hurt, or you need that first injury to be major, and then someone else to get hurt. You need a few things to bounce your direction, and it can. Royals just lost Lugo and Reagans. So it can hit your rotation pretty quick and out of nowhere. So in that situation, it would be interesting to see what happens. But I would say my guess would be Quinn Matthews is going to come up in the next month. By the end of June, we're all going to be like, yeah, Quinn Matthews again. So unless there's a barrage, if there's a barrage of injuries tomorrow, what did you say? I
hope so. I said.
Yeah, if there's a barrage of injuries tomorrow, I mean, maybe you're seeing that happen, but I don't even know. I think they get more. It'd be a bad situation. I think you'd see the Cardinals turning into sellers real quick if there was 3 major injuries tomorrow.
Yeah. So a couple things about Roby.
Gordon and worth pointing, Gordon Gracefo is still hanging around.
Yeah, I think Gracefo is going to be more of a bullpen guy. He's actually pitched pretty decently out of the bullpen for the Cardinals. It might be a thing too where if they moved Helsley, they would maybe want that next guy up ready to go to come in to be the next closer. If there was 2 injuries tomorrow, like I think they'd rather stretch out Gracefo versus throw Chuck Roby in before he's ready. He's still at Double-A. Yeah, possible. I mean, like you see, he's not even pitching a lot of pitches in each start. Like he basically has a cap of 67 pitches. Look at this. If you're watching on the YouTube, April 17th, 67 pitches, 24th, 67, May 3rd, 67, May 10th, 65, and then May 16th, 67. I don't know how that happens where literally 67 pitches in 4 out of the last 5, but like he's managed to make that happen and his pitch count in the last 5 starts. So they kind of have him at a cutoff, probably trying to stop him from getting hurt. It's possible too, because he was pitching out of the pen in spring, Doc, maybe he comes up and maybe he's not a starter. Maybe he comes up before Quinn Matthews, but as that reliever. So if the Cardinals are like, we're going to play this middle road here, it's the trade deadline. We might still make the playoffs, but we can't lose out on the opportunity to trade Helsley for like a Tanner Scott like return, like what the Marlins got for Tanner Scott last year was insane. So they can't say, they could say, hey, okay, we can't completely just give up on this rebuild year that we're supposed to do, even though we're doing better than we were supposed to do. Maybe we trade Helsley, bring in some pieces that can also help now, and someone like Roby could come in and pitch out of the pen to kind of replace Helsley. So very possible when the guy's only going 67 pitches each time out, but you can see that his success start by start has been dependent, and I keep harping on this for like all these pitchers, on throwing strikes. You see here, like this start was terrible. He had a 34% strike rate, and then he walked more guys than he struck out and got rocked. His good starts have been starts where he's hitting at an over 50% strike rate. So command is a big part of relaying to success. Like 58% strike rate last time out. Oh, now all of a sudden you magically got 11 strikeouts with 0 walks and a 32.8% swinging strike rate in that game. Also, if you have a chance to watch the highlights, Roby's curve is sick. Like it's rated as a 70 grade curve on Fangraphs, and there's a reason for it. Like that curve is just nasty. And
yeah, that's what I was going to jump. I was going to jump in before to mention that it's a ridiculous. I'm a sucker for a filthy curveball, and he's got a good 4-pitch mix.
Yeah, he does. He's got I think 4+ pitches rated by on Fangraphs, but he's got like a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, just killer curve, and his slider is better this year. He's got like a harder slider this year that acts kind of like as a bridge pitch between the curve and the fastball. That is also really nice for swinging strikes. Like I can't wait till we get Arsenal data on some of this stuff. Being in AA, we have no Arsenal data. Once he's in AAA, we'll get Arsenal data from Roby. But I think it's probably like when, not if, he's going to be up in AAA, because I feel like at this point in time, like he's 23 years old, going to be 24 soon. We see he gets hurt every now and then, so there's limited bullets here. So I feel like there's no point in the Cardinals kind of playing around with like wasting too many of his bullets this season. Number 6, T6. We've got another pitcher here. Number 117 on my prospect rankings is starting pitcher Carson Wiesenhunt, who is having a revenge tour season this year. Doc, you like that? Wiesenhunt?
I know. I freaking don't love that. It's the most ridiculous pronunciation. There's no way that's his name.
I'm telling you, dude. Welsh told me it's Wiesenhunt. Maybe it's Wiesenhunt. I don't know. We'll see when he's in the majors.
Welsh has probably a stuffed up nose at the time. He's like, it's Wiesenhunt, but he's trying to say Wiesenhunt.
He's in fall league, dude. I gotta trust his pronunciation. I don't have a chance to see him pitch in person. I made fun of the tool shed guys for the pronunciation on Mr. Eduardo Tait. when we thought it was Tate, and I was completely wrong on that one. I'll still make fun of it because it's funny. Tait is funny compared to Tate, but whatever. We got to Americanize him a little bit. We got to get him.
I think he's Tate. I think it's Tate.
Dude,
we'll have to let
he's gonna be in Philly. So by the time that his contract is over in Philly, he's gonna be a Tate. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
People in Philly are not gonna be eating Philly cheesesteaks calling him Tait. It just ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like
if anything, they're gonna call him Tight. Yeah. Hey, I like that Tight. Yeah, Tight guy's really got it going. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get tight.
So Carson Wiesenhunt on his revenge tour this week, 7 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 0 walks, 0 ERA, 0.43 whip. And I already know Jake Holland, my boy, is going to give me he's going to talk some trash because we have in a league that he's been trying to trade me this guy on in a Basayo trade, and I'm not having it at all. I'm like, no, bro, you want to talk Basayo, you got to throw me a Chase Burns or a Bubba Chandler. You can't be throwing me Carson frickin' Wiesenhunt. We can't even know how to say his name. So give me someone better. No offense. But he's on the revenge tour right now. Really great season. 23.2 K- walk rate on the season. 3.48 ERA, 109 whip. And that's in the PCL where he got absolutely rocked last year. What do you got on him, Doc?
I mean, he's almost 25. I need to know what he's throwing because last time I checked, he's basically a 2-pitch guy. I know it says here he's got a
3 right here. Yeah, sinker, changeup, slider. So on his Arsenal data, because he is in AAA, so we do have his Arsenal data. 325 sinkers, 275 changeups, 117 sliders.
The changeup is his bread and butter. It's like an 80 grade pitch.
Yeah. I mean, look, his changeup, 22.2 swinging strike rate. What kind of changeup gets swings and misses 22.2% of the time? That's insane.
It concerns me a bit. Just that, I mean, yeah, I'm a little concerned about sinker changeup mixing in a slider. It's not, I like that it's up to 16% slider. Hopefully that can stay. You know, if you, yeah, he's going to be in San Francisco, which is a great pitcher's park. He's going to have some things going for him. I'm not out, and I think everyone has redemption, and he's a lefty, so that really, really helps his cause. But I'm only getting him at value, and I feel like right now we're having this. He had this big buzzy name a couple of years ago, completely disappeared, but I think you're getting this kind of echo of that value right now, just from his name being recognizable from the past. I'm still not fully in on it. I think he's going to be a low K guy, which, I mean, that might end up being one of my guys, like, you know, because I like those values. When people realize, like, Logan Webb was a value for so long, he's getting to be less of a value. But like Noah Cameron, people are kind of writing him off because he doesn't get strikeouts yet. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to give me great ratios, if you're just a good pitcher, you limit hard contact, quality starts matters to me. You know, ratios matter to me, wins matter to me. So maybe he ends up becoming one of my guys later on, but it's not a profile I necessarily target. I definitely would love to have Cole Reagans over Seth Lugo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what type of league I want him in? I want him in a points league because you can see here, he has almost a 50% ground ball rate and a 3.5% barrel rate against, and he's already pitching 90-ish pitches per start. So this is the type of guy that you want in a points league. Now, like, he's blocked, right? There's Birdsong. Harrison might still be ahead of him. I don't know where they're at on Harrison. Maybe he's not ahead of him. But this is the type of guy I want in a points league because I think he's going to go deep and just generate a lot of ground ball contact. So that means you're going to get a lot of innings, which are points, right? In points leagues, you want guys that are going to pitch a lot of innings and not give up runs. And if he's pitching in San Francisco instead of in the PCL with these numbers, you see he's given up 6 home runs on the season so far. That ain't going to happen in San Fran. That's because he's pitching in the PCL. Maybe you don't start him at Colorado, but I feel like he'll be a really nice points league type player for probably next year. Like, he's going to be up at some point this year, so probably for next year. Got anything else on him?
Yeah, I think you said it. And funny, as I was talking, I went from like not being into like he's going to be one of those boring values. But I'm not. Don't buy on the original hype when he gets promoted. People are going to get bored of him. The next year, when he's like in conversation as their 5th starter, get him in the last round or whatever. He might be a value then.
Yeah, Drew Thorpe. Just remember, Drew Thorpe's going to be free when he comes back from his injury. So
don't have to tell me, brother.
Yeah. So next we got another Giant here. So going on, it's all Cardinals and Giants. We have Walker Martin with the Giants, who was a big name last year. A lot of hype around Walker Martin, who was hurt at the beginning of last season, didn't really do anything after that. But he's showing a lot of power early so far, Doc. He's at Aceball, and he also has a decent eye despite the K. So he has a really high K rate, but he has also an 11% walk rate. And last week he was 7 for 20 with 8 walks, 4 extra base hits, 3 home runs, and 2 steals. So you're not going to like the contact, right? 67% contact rate is not good, especially for him being at A-ball. But he was hurt last year, and I'm kind of liking that we're seeing him come around and actually, do something this year because he was a big name last year. So we're seeing something out of Walker Martin. And it's almost like when I'm watching him right now, it's reminding me of Aiden Miller a little bit, like when Aiden Miller first came on the scene. We're seeing some power. We're seeing some speed. We're seeing a lot of Ks. But, once Aiden Miller kind of like gets into a level, he starts to balance out and level out a bit. So Walker Martin, I think, might be starting to get some traction. Like this last week might be the beginning of a little bit of the Walker Martin show. What do you think?
Hey, improvement is good. He's 21 years old and low A, so that's like something to keep in mind. But going from, a 46% K rate, that's real, at low A last year to 31 this year, all of a sudden 31 seems, hey, we'll take it, right? Going from 58% contact rate and 52% on the year last year, including for some reason he was worse at complex with his contact percentage. He's up to 68% now. See what I'm saying? Like, so 68%, normally I'm not a huge fan of a 21-year-old at low A, but given his skill set, given that he's got those tools that are hard to teach, he's got some pop. I could have sworn he was supposed to have more speed than this. He's stealing some bases. Regardless, he's someone where that is market development. So I'm not still really interested just yet, but I had basically written him off as like, this is not a major league profile, to okay, now we can start talking, because he can take a walk and he's got some tools. And so we'll see what happens. I'm going to just kind of keep an eye on him, though.
His name is friggin' Walker. He better be able to take a walk. If your name is
There's
Walker
someone,
and you can't
yeah,
take a walk,
yeah.
then I don't know.
There's either someone who's in the industry or one of my followers. Someone at one point, someone told me they like went to high school, or like Walker Martin's their buddy or something like that. So I guess I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
That's the weird connection.
Go for you, dude. Number 8. This is a Ross Jensen favorite right here. And I'm actually probably higher on him than most in the industry, because I've got him at 74. But that's shortstop Cole Young with the Mariners. He had a heck of a week, man. 9 for 24, 6 extra base hits, 2 home runs, 1 steal. So Cole Young is still only 21 years old. I feel like he's been around forever, right? And he's always high for the level. So this is one of the things that people always talk about. Oh, there's nothing there. It's just a hit tool and that's it. He does have a really good hit tool. He does have really good plate skills, and that's why he's been able to be young at every level. And like talking about Jacob Wilson earlier, this is like almost a Jacob Wilson profile, right? Like almost an 83% contact rate, 12% walk rate, 13% K rate. Okay, yeah, I know Jacob Wilson doesn't even walk. All he does is hit the ball. But like, like Jacob Wilson is a different kind of creature. Like he and Luis Arias are like 2 different humans on the face of the earth. There's like a whole nother level of contact under that's still really good, like a Brendan Donovan. So maybe Cole Young could be like a shortstop Brendan Donovan for the Mariners, which is actually really good, right? If you can hit 280 to 300 with 12 to 15 bombs, 12 to 15 steals every year, that's a pretty good profile. And we're seeing that power come around right now. And that's like one of the main things. Like 10% barrel rate is not bad. Like, yeah, the EVs aren't really great. Like 103.6 average or EV 90th percentile EV is not great, but he is still young. He's still only 21. And yeah, I know he's young, but like
I was gonna
say,
really yeah, of course he's young. Of course he's young at every level. He's been young since he was born. Cole Young, man. Cole Young.
I like the profile a lot. Like my comp that I had for him on my preseason prospect ranking was Jackson Holiday Light meets Geraldo Perdomo. So like something like that is kind of like what you might be expecting. Or like I said, like maybe like a Brendan Donovan is like a best case scenario for him. But that's still a really good player. Like maybe it's not for you in your league, but like I think like in a points league, Cole Young's going to be a really good value.
Yeah, I think like his frame is even like a classic situation of like 5'10", 5'11", 180. Like he's not big, he's not small. It's like I remember I saw that like there was the organization talking about him, like he might have some Jackson Holiday comps. That got me excited. He betrayed me. It looked like he was tapping into power last year early on, and I surged him into a top 10 prospect, and I was like, oh, I got burned pretty fast on that. I was like, that's no thank you to the listeners and readers for no one really held it over my head, but I've never forgotten it. And so I feel like he bamboozled me a little bit. It could still happen. He's on pace to do a lot better than he has been doing in terms of power. I'll tell you what, one of the big reasons I came down on him on fantasy value, he gets caught stealing a lot, and that's not going to fly in the bigs. He's already 1 stolen base this year, 1 caught stealing. Terrible. Last year, it was 23 to 11, 22 to 10, 5-5, 17 to 5. Like he gets caught quite a bit. I just don't think he's going to get the green light. If that's what he's doing at the big leagues, maybe you can teach that development a little bit. I'll tell you what though, so that's the downside. I'm always the bad guy, I feel like, on here, because if they're good, then I have to start caring. I have to pay attention to them. I'm like, dang it, Tim got me on another one. I have to remember another guy's name now. But I know Cole Young. He's been around, and so yeah, I mean, the upside is like you said, I love the Brandon Donovan comp. I think he's looking like I've always said, even when I got off of him, I was like, I think he's still an MLB player. I think it's just like a high floor, low ceiling play. And, his EVs are okay. 89 average EV right now. That's okay. Like, that's fine. Max EV of 108, that's fine. That actually indicates he does have some power. But if he's playing in Seattle, it's like, how much is he going to get to? So, which is just, I can just it's so easy for me to see him as a Brendan Donovan, a guy who nobody wants to draft. I actually accidentally, I think you might be in that. Yeah, it's that league. I'm a number 1 now. Our Memorial League, our league where we're with Scott White and Frank and from
You
CBS.
passed me. Yeah, you passed me.
I'm actually dominating. I'm at like 90. Everyone else is in 70s or something. You guys are.
Yeah,
You guys
my pitching is failing. Shane Boss is falling apart. But the good news for me in that league is I've got Hunter Green coming back finally. So
yeah, if only you could match up with Hunter Brown. That's my guy.
Hunter.
That was a league where I just picked value. Like, I don't have shares of a lot of these guys in other leagues, like Hunter Brown. I was like, okay, cool. I think I got him like stupid cheap. But Brendan Donovan, we're being relevant here. He was someone where I think I got him for like $2 or $3, and I was hoping to bid someone else up. And I forgot nobody likes Brendan Donovan. And so I was stuck with him, right? And now he's batting like 320 or something, right? It's like, just, okay. Like, he's just like, I'm like, oh, I guess I can't cut him. He's actually good.
He's killing it for sure. Number 9 on the T10, we've got starting pitcher Will Sanders with the Cubs. He's a Cub, so I'm not going to talk too much about him. I'm not going to talk about too much here. But last week, he had 2 starts, 11 innings, 14 Ks, 0 walks, 0.26 ERA, 0.26 whip. He's a big dude at 6'6". So I know you like big pitchers. He's a big pitcher. Mixed bag approach with a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. He's also, I think, like 230 pounds. So, like, I know we compared Ben Hess to Lance Lynn. It's like every big-ass pitcher I want to just compare to Lance Lynn. He's not quite that big, but he's a big dude with that, like, mixed bag approach. The fastball, I think, is maybe his best pitch. But the Cubs are not really one for, like, usually they don't have pitchers. They're not, like, known for pitching development. They kind of have, like, Cade Horton, but they're not really one for pitchers. But I think this might be, like, that next guy after Horton coming up for the Cubbies here is Will Sanders. I just pulled him up on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see he has pretty good command, at least, like, since the last 4 or 5 starts. He's had really good command out. And he pretty much does the same thing every time out. Like 7 Ks, 0 walks, 7 Ks, 0 walks in both of these starts. With pretty decent swing strike rates. The weird thing is he has good command. He has a good swing strike rate, but the CSW is only like around 30, 32. So it's like, how is the CSW not caught up to the swing strike rate when he is a high command guy? I don't know if that's just like weird calls from umps or what. That always freaks me out when I see something like that. I'm like, what's going on with that? But he has an under 1 whip this season. So I think Will Sanders should be on people's radar.
Yeah, apologies. I was clicking a lot there, and I usually have myself muted when I want to do a lot of clicking. So you're welcome, everyone. If you liked that clicking metronome behind Tim's soothing voice, that was me. Yeah. So when you hear lots of clicks, it means I don't really know the guy, which is hilarious. But yeah, Will Sanders. I mean, that's I like the big body guys, and that's got 4-pitch mix. You said it's his best pitch is a fastball. Fangraphs has that as his worst pitch, a 40 grade.
He ticked it up this year from what I've seen. Okay. He was only throwing it like 92 or something before, but he's up to 94 on it now. So I think the Fangraph grades are preseason, and that's like some of his velocity is new. But I watched some of his starts, and a lot of his swings and misses were coming on a high fastball.
Interesting. So he's learning how to mix that in, which is really important for his progression. I mean, just looking at the numbers here, doesn't strike. I think maybe a Lance Lynn type is what we're looking at, because not generating tons of strikeouts. His command seems to be tightening up here compared to early. He only started playing in the pros in 2024, so kind of how old is this guy? Yeah, he's 23. So kind of like just kind of drafted late, right? Out of college, later than we're used to. Sometimes you hear 23 years old, you assume they've been in the minors for a while. He just started last year at high A, and frankly, I guess if his first exposure to pro ball, not bad at all. So that's a name I'll file away. Has a profile. Again, I like someone who could be a value one day, and maybe he's still early on in his development. That perhaps, as you're saying, he learns to tap into this fastball, turn it from a weakness to a strength. And all of a sudden, that's the thing with pitchers. Their entire profile can flip on a dime, and now you're looking at a completely different pitcher.
Yeah, the thing with him too is he's showing that he's building some consistency. So he's not going to be this guy that like blows you away, right? But he might be like one of these nice like number 4, number 5 starter types who could just consistently not give up a lot of runs and also like at least give like a K per 9 or whatever if he can. So I think that's maybe what we're looking at with Will Sanders, which I wish he went to Kentucky, because if he had gone to Kentucky, we'd call him Colonel Sanders instead of South Carolina. Number 10 is Joran Watts Brown with the Blue Jays in high A. This last week, 6 innings pitched, 10 Ks, 0 walks, 0 ERA, .33 whip. And this dude has been killing it all year, Doc, for the Jays. He has a 32.1 K minus walk rate on the season and an 18.4 swing strike rate with a near 35% CSW. So this dude was a multi-sport athlete, played basketball, I think, too, was his other sport. Has really awesome breaking stuff. So like the thing with him, and the reason that he kind of got dinged in the past was that his fastball was only around like 91. So this is another guy who's ticked up his fastball. Now he's throwing it around 93. And the curve and slider are like the main pitches with him. So it's almost like maybe like a better Carlos Rodriguez type profile, hopefully. So I think that's what we're going to run into with him here.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. The Jays have had kind of a run of not great times. I don't even want to say bad luck, because I'm just not sure if I believe in their pitching development as of late. I believe Trey Savage is doing pretty well this year. Yeah, he's doing real well, looking like a stud very early on. Maybe you've seen some of him down in Dunedin.
Mm-hmm. I have not.
So,
I tried, but yeah, okay. I tried.
Yeah. But yeah, so Watts Brown, I remember there's a reason why I was off him. I think it was his command. There was some serious command concerns, and you see that in his stats last year. Kind of off the charts, over 5 walks per 9, looking like a reliever, getting lots of strikeouts. But hey, this year the command's tightening up. And y'all love that, right? When you're seeing, sometimes you see the command tighten up, but the strikes go down or strikeouts go down, or the vice versa. Okay, yeah, the strikeouts are going up, but the command's getting wild. He's just whipping it. So, yeah, trending in the right direction. Jay's development in general, Namala was looking kind of rough. I'm still not sure if I fully believe. He looks like a skinny kid. I don't know if that power is that real. But yeah, we'll see. With the contact numbers, I don't know. But I mean, I got some beef with the Blue Jays, the way they run their teams. I grew up in that area. And so I got some kind of bitterness toward the organization a little bit. That's personal issues. But Warren, is that his name? Warren Jarin? JWB. Oh, there we go.
I don't know if it's Jaron or Warren.
It's JWB.
I think it's
so we don't play those games. Nah, JWB. Everyone knows it.
JWB, yeah.
Everyone knows it. It's JWB. And so yeah, it's yeah. Hey, this is great. You want to see more kids succeed, and the Jays certainly could use it, because they're kind of like they're grinding out there. They need to take advantage of the Baltimore Orioles while they're down. I don't think they're going to stay down. But if they can develop some youth movement here, that would be exciting for the base, as it's gotten kind of stale in Canada lately.
Yeah, he's been pretty nasty. Like his breaking stuff is just really nasty. And you see like his last 4 starts, 10 Ks, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 2 walks, 10 Ks, 0 walks, 8 Ks, 2 walk. So he's really on a roll here, as far as like generating the Ks. So I'm a big fan. I think he's a guy to watch out for moving forward. My honorable mention, of course, number 11 here, Matt Shaw gets the call. 5 home runs last week, 2 steals. Number 12, Yohendrick Panango, another Blue Jays player. He's 9 for 21, 5 extra base hits, 4 bombs, 2 steals, with an 82% contact rate too. So power and contact from Yohendrick Panango with the Blue Jays outfielder. Number 13, this is a guy who's been on the list already before. Wei-In Lin with the Athletics, another 6 innings pitched with 8 Ks, 0 walks, 3 ERA, .83 whip. Wei-In Lin, just ridiculous. Like his K minus walk rate is almost 36%. From I think he's 19. Like he should not be an A-ball anymore. He's way too good. Like he's one of the better pitchers in A-ball. He's probably he might make my top 100. Definitely going to be in the top 150 in my next rankings update. Number 14, Samuel Basayo, 3 bombs last week. Basayo is putting up like 116 EVs right now, and He's still 20, or did he turn 21 now at AAA?
I feel like he's got to still be 20, but I mean, it's funny. I mean, I feel like with Roman Anthony getting all the headlines, the perks of being a Red Sox, he's still 20 for a few more months too. But yeah, people almost forget, like, this is probably a buying window for Basayo.
I
People
mean,
are kind of sleeping on him.
That's insane that he's doing that. Average EV of 93, 116 max EVs as a freaking 20-year-old at AAA. Like, this guy is going to be something else. And 15, another Oriole, just to give the Orioles a little hope, because everything else is depressing over there right now. We have Trey Gibson with the Orioles, 5 1/3 innings, 10 Ks, 1 walk, 169 ERA. So nice fastball, high 90s fastball, good ride on it. So Trey Gibson with the Orioles. Maybe they actually do have one pitcher in the org that you can look at anyway. Do you have any huckleberries this week, Doc?
My huckleberry is Connor Griffin, because we had his dad on the podcast, in case you missed that, folks. So check out Dynasty Dingers this week. Connor Griffin. Yeah, he's got everyone knows Connor Griffin, but I mean, he's looking like Bobby Witt profile. We're hoping for 26% strikeout rate. It's like not ideal, but like his first exposure to pro ball, who cares? So 3% walk rate. People are kind of like, eh. We talked about that with his dad, and I'm like, I'm pretty confident. Like, first of all, it's not like a crippling K rate, period, especially when you're ripping bombs and stealing bases the way he is and making the kind of contact you are. And he's got a 75% contact rate, so that's fine. I think he's just getting excited because he's a stud, and these are bad, frankly, sorry, low A pitchers, but there's not that good of pitchers down there. So even as an 18-year-old, or how, still 18? Anyway, he's pretty young. Coming in there, I think he's just seeing the ball and hitting the ball, and so why would you take a walk if home runs are readily available? And he did just turn 19 this month, or he's got the same birthday as my sister. My sister's kind of stubborn, so Connor Griffin, very stubborn. If you listen to the podcast, you'll hear a story about at 9 years old, he almost lost his eyeball.
Ooh, let me throw a little gasoline here on this Connor Griffin hype too. So Connor Griffin is doing this, 17 stolen bases, 7 home runs already in Florida. People don't realize this unless you live in Florida, but we are at sea level in Florida. And that means that if he is doing this in Florida, if he was playing in Arizona, it would be this times like 1.5. So when you're looking at these guys, your Jesus Mate and all these guys doing, 3 bombs, Luis Pena, 3 homers, and in Arizona, take into account that that's at like 4,000 feet up. So Connor Griffin doing this at sea level makes it even more impressive. And not to mention, we have had a lot of storms here in Florida the last week, and the wind, depending on your stadium, can really affect the ball. So I didn't mention this with Roniel Rodriguez, but he plays here in Jupiter for the complex team. And the stadium, the outfield of the stadium is facing toward the ocean, which means that the wind is blowing in all the time, because the wind in Florida is always coming from wherever the water is. So if you're on the west side of Florida, it's going to blow in from the west side. If you're on the east side of Florida, it's going to blow in from the east side. So the wind is always coming from the water side. And so a lot of these stadiums are built to look out at the nice, pretty water or whatever, right, for the people sitting there. So you have to take that into account, is the wind is blowing in at a lot of these stadiums, and they're at sea level. So any of these hitters, what they can do in Florida is if you're taking that against an Arizona guy, you just have to think about where they're playing. You need to take that into account. That's like Rockies, playing in the Rockies versus playing in Seattle. That's kind of like what that's like. So just keep that in mind, in the back of your mind. So just adding a little more gasoline to the Connor Griffin hype here to really get him, to really blow him up. What he's doing is completely ridiculous right now. Do you have anything else? Because I know you got to go pick up Mama Eisenhauer.
I got to pick up my mom. She got here 20 minutes early. She's already landed. I got to go.
All right. So we're going to end this right now then. Doc's got to go pick up Mama Eisenhauer. So we're going here. Follow Doc on the Twitter machine at Doc Eisenhauer. You can follow me at Fantasy Aceball. Check out that Dynasty Dingers pod to listen to Mr. Kevin Griffin, Monsieur Kevin Griffin, about some childhood stories of Connor Griffin, and maybe how Connor Griffin got so good. Like, how did this kid become so good? If you're dad with a kid, maybe that's a good one to listen to. So check out that episode, and we will see you next time on the Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Peace out, everybody.